Prophecy 2025, the Japanese monk's prediction of 3 impending disasters. In the serene atmosphere of a temple in Kyoto, a humble-looking monk named Daun Miki has become a phenomenon with his prophecies that are steeped in Buddhist philosophy while revealing troubling upheavals in the world. Daun Miki is renowned for his ability to sense the scent of death, feel the energy of future events, and make astonishing predictions. According to him, the year 2025 will mark a pivotal point for our planet, with catastrophic climate change, the rise of new pandemics, and smoldering conflicts on the brink of explosion. He warns that this is not only a time of trials, but also a period when humanity must face the consequences of greed and environmental destruction. In his teachings, the monk vividly describes a breaking point where nature will retaliate and society will be deeply divided, pushing humanity into chaos. He references the arrival of 3 calamities and 7 misfortunes. What is remarkable is that his predictions bear a striking resemblance to those of renowned seers like Nostradamus, Baba Vanga, and even Ananda. However, unlike others who paint a bleak future, Daun Miki offers a path illuminated by consciousness and compassion, showing how humanity can navigate through the darkness. We are entering a phase where every decision can shape the fate of an entire planet. What disasters could 2025 bring? What are the 3 calamities and 7 misfortunes? All of this will be unveiled in today's discussion. In recent years, Daun Miki has shaken Japan with his extraordinary abilities. He is said to transcend the boundaries between the human world, the spirit realm, and the divine. People believe he can communicate with spirits, receive messages from deities, and even foresee the deaths of others. His accurate prediction of the COVID-19 pandemic, global conflicts, and significant political events, such as the appointment of Japan's prime minister, has further cemented his reputation. One of the most chilling stories about him occurred in 1993. While studying Buddhist philosophy at a prestigious university, Daun Miki went out for a leisurely stroll with his camera. Passing by a pet store with adorable dogs, he snapped some photos. Unexpectedly, the store owner rushed out, but Miki immediately apologized. The owner not only invited him in for a tour, but also offered him coffee. 8 cans of coffee were placed before him, and Miki only drank 1 before leaving. The store owner even offered him a job with a generous salary of 150,000 yen, equivalent to 25 million VND, but Miki declined, believing that monks should detach from worldly desires. 3 years later, as he was preparing to continue his religious journey in Tokyo, he returned to bid farewell to the store owner, who once again laid out 8 cans of coffee. Miki drank just 1 and left after a brief conversation. 3 years later, Miki was horrified to see news reports identifying the store owner as a notorious serial killer targeting dog lovers. The man had confessed that he had tested whether divine protection existed by planning to poison a monk. In all 3 encounters, only 1 can of coffee was untainted, and Miki had miraculously chosen the safe one each time. Born in 1972 in Kyoto, Japan, Daun Miki came from a family of monks. In Japan, monks are allowed to marry. According to a mysterious chronicle from Kyoto, Miki was a lively and well-mannered child. He would politely greet guests and serve them tea. Yet one day he realized that he was the only one who could see those guests. In 1977, when Miki was 5 years old, he awoke one night to hear an eerie voice calling his name. Cold hands grabbed his legs, pulling him downward. Frightened, he sat up but saw no one. Gradually, he discovered that he could see beings invisible to others. However, Miki later clarified that he didn't always see them, but could often sense the scent of death. One day during a family meal, he noticed a distinct smell of death coming from his father. Despite his confusion, he bravely asked, "Father, would you like to see a doctor tomorrow?" His mother scolded him, dismissing his comment as nonsense. Yet soon after, his father was diagnosed with stomach cancer and given only 6 months to live. With devoted care from the family, his father lived for 2 more years before passing away. Miki's extraordinary ability is not entirely unique. In another story, an English boy reportedly saw auras around people, which turned gray when someone was gravely ill. In the US, a hospice recorded the behavior of a cat named Oscar, who would comfort elderly residents hours before their deaths. Oscar's predictions were accurate for 25 cases. Once, while browsing a bookstore, Miki smelled death. He identified an elderly man as the source. Hesitant to speak, fearing he would be dismissed as mad, Miki was surprised when the man approached him. Summoning his courage, Miki said, "You don't look well. Perhaps you should see a doctor." The elderly man smiled, thanked him, and said, "I don't think I'll need a doctor anymore." After speaking, the man vanished. He had passed away moments earlier, his soul lingering for just a brief moment. Miki did not regard his ability to see spirits or sense death as a special gift. Instead, he viewed it as a reminder of life's impermanence and the importance of compassion and awareness. According to Buddhism, all sentient beings go through 4 states known as the 4 existences. The first is birth existence, the moment when life is formed in the mother's womb. The second is life existence, the period of living in the world. The third is death existence, the moment of departing from the world. The fourth is intermediate existence, the transitional phase between death and rebirth. In the intermediate state, the soul undergoes 49 days of trials before continuing the cycle of reincarnation within the 6 realms. If you want details about these trials, please refer to our video about the 6 realms of rebirth on our channel. In Buddhism, although the body may die, the soul continues to exist and follows karmic ties to enter the cycle of reincarnation. Notably, Miki once personally witnessed evidence of reincarnation. After graduating from university, Miki began a wandering life dedicated to spiritual practice. Although his family owned a temple, being the second son, he could not inherit it according to tradition. During his travels, where he sought shelter and practiced at various temples, Miki developed a unique habit. He would visit parks at night to preach to groups of wandering youths. He often began with, "Let me tell you a ghost story," as he found this method captivated the youth's attention. Over time, many of them became devoted to Buddhism. One day, Miki received an invitation to India to participate in a Buddhist exchange program. Upon arriving at Rajgir, one of Buddhism's 8 sacred sites, where Shakyamuni Buddha once gave teachings after his enlightenment, and where the first Buddhist council took place after his passing, Miki was ecstatic. However, he unexpectedly encountered a miraculous event of reincarnation. While walking down a street near Rajgir, an Indian man approached him and asked in Japanese, "Are you Japanese?" Miki was astonished to meet someone speaking Japanese in India. They quickly struck up a conversation, and the man introduced himself as a dairy farmer who had studied in Japan in his youth, which is why he spoke some Japanese. The man mentioned that there was a cow on his farm that he suspected was Japanese in its previous life. Whenever he spoke Japanese, the cow would come close and even shed tears. The man invited Miki to the farm to see for himself. Without hesitation, Miki agreed and followed him. Upon arrival, the man called out in Japanese, "A Japanese person has come." Instantly, a cow ran toward them. Miki approached the cow and asked in Japanese, "Were you Japanese in your past life?" The cow nodded while tears streamed down its face, even making sounds as if it was crying. Miki was stunned, overwhelmed with questions. Who was this cow in its past life? Where was it born in Japan? Why was it reincarnated as a cow? However, when he was about to ask, he noticed the cow's tear-filled eyes and instead asked gently, "Do you remember your past life?" The cow nodded again. At that moment, Miki began chanting the Lotus Sutra to help the cow absolve its karmic burdens. According to Buddhist beliefs, being reborn as an animal is often due to negative karma from past lives or even ancient past lives. After chanting, Miki promised the cow that he would return the next day to visit. However, that night at the guest house, he couldn't sleep, reflecting on how people disbelieve in reincarnation because they cannot see or experience it firsthand. Yet now, he had found living proof of its existence. The next morning, the farmer hurriedly informed Miki that the cow seemed unwell. Miki rushed to the farm and found the cow lying on the grass, looking frail. He approached and spoke in Japanese, "Are you okay?" The cow weakly moved and nodded in response, but soon closed its eyes and lay motionless. Although Miki couldn't uncover the full story of the cow's reincarnation, he believed the event held profound meaning. He resolved to continue exploring the mysteries of reincarnation. In 2005, after years of wandering, Miki was appointed the 38th head monk of Lin-Ku Temple, an ancient temple founded in 1661. However, due to years of neglect, the temple had fallen into severe disrepair. The roof leaked everywhere, and many Buddha statues were damaged, with some missing limbs. Miki quickly realized that raising funds to restore the statues was his most important mission. After tidying up the temple, Miki fell into an exhausted sleep. That night, he had a surprising dream. In the dream, he saw Daikokuten, the Indian deity of wealth, who was later adopted into Buddhism as a protective deity. In Japan, Daikokuten merged with local culture and became one of the 7 lucky gods, symbolizing wealth and prosperity. Typically depicted as a majestic and affluent figure, Daikokuten in Miki's dream wore tattered clothes and slowly walked toward the temple gate. Before leaving, Daikokuten waved and said, "Goodbye." Miki saw something fall from Daikokuten's pouch and shouted, "Daikokuten, you dropped something!" But Daikokuten only smiled and replied, "That's my gift to you." Miki suddenly awoke and found himself kneeling on a meditation cushion instead of lying in bed. Though he had experienced many strange events throughout his life, this was the first time something like this had happened. He wondered, could there really be a statue of Daikokuten in this temple? The next morning, he decided to thoroughly search the temple and, as expected, discovered a heavily damaged statue of Daikokuten in a corner of the main hall. Remarkably, the statue's pouch had a torn spot, just like in his dream. Miki worked tirelessly to raise funds for the temple's restoration. After some time, he raised enough money to restore the Buddha statues, but not enough to repair Daikokuten's statue. Feeling remorseful, Miki turned to the statue and said, "I'm sorry, but the funds are insufficient, so I'll have to make you wait a little longer." After saying this, Miki suddenly realized, "Wait, you're Daikokuten, the deity of wealth. Surely, you can help me find the money to complete the repairs." The next morning, a young mother and her son visited the temple. She explained that she wanted to donate her entire savings and asked Miki to write her son's name on the donor list to bless him. Touched, Miki asked why. She replied, "I'm a single mother who works constantly to support my son and don't have much time to spend with him. I want to accumulate merit for him." Moved by her sincerity, Miki initially declined the donation, but eventually accepted after her insistence. Silently, he prayed, "Daikokuten, please find a way to repay this family." Before they left, Miki suggested, "There's a lottery booth down the street. Why not try your luck?" A few days later, the mother returned to the temple in tears. She shared that after donating the money, she had planned to end her life and her son's due to unbearable hardships. However, remembering Miki's words, she bought a lottery ticket and won 100,000 yen, exactly the amount she had donated. Through her tears, she exclaimed, "Daikokuten truly returned the money to us." But the story didn't end there. After redeeming the ticket, she decided to take her son to a fancy restaurant they had always dreamed of visiting. However, the restaurant was closed that day due to staff vacations. On their way home, they passed a horse racing kiosk. Although she typically had no interest in such things, she inexplicably bought a ticket and won 10 million yen. She used the winnings to open a small shop and donated the rest to the temple. News of Daikokuten's blessings at Lin-Ku Temple spread far and wide, attracting many visitors. Thanks to their support, Miki soon raised enough funds to restore Daikokuten's statue. When the work was completed, Miki remembered the dream he had on his first night at the temple, where Daikokuten left the temple gates. He realized that everything was connected. Miki stood before Daikokuten's statue and said, "I've restored your statue. If you have returned, please show me a sign." Miraculously, a local Buddhist shop owner soon shared a strange incident. A customer had ordered a Buddha pedestal, but when completed, the statue was too large for it. The owner was about to discard the pedestal when he realized it fit perfectly with Daikokuten's statue. He donated it to the temple. A few days later, workers demolishing a nearby site unexpectedly uncovered statues of the 7 lucky gods. Unsure what to do, they brought the statues to Lin-Ku Temple. Miki smiled and thought, is this Daikokuten's way of saying that he has returned and brought his friends with him? 10 years later, a major crisis arose. Due to consecutive typhoons and earthquakes, the temple buildings became severely weakened, threatening collapse unless repaired. Mickey invited construction experts to estimate the cost, and the figure came to 1.8 billion yen. Mickey was overwhelmed by the astronomical amount. In his despair, he had another extraordinary dream. In his dream, Mickey saw a giant airship stop at Rinko Temple. Upon closer inspection, he recognized the 7 lucky gods. While Mickey was still bewildered, Daikokuten suddenly spoke, "Hurry and buy Gohua." The dream ended, and Mickey awoke with a start, realizing he was kneeling on a cushion, just as he had in the dream 10 years ago. The next morning, still puzzled, Mickey went to a pork shop and awkwardly asked the owner, "Could you sell me some pork belly, specifically Gohua?" The shop owner burst out laughing. "Are you planning to eat pork belly today, monk?" Mickey replied, "No, I dreamed that Daikokuten told me to buy Gohua." Upon hearing this, the shop owner immediately understood the meaning and said, "Daikokuten wasn't talking about pork belly, he was telling you to buy lottery tickets." It turns out that in Japanese, the pronunciation of Gohua is similar to that of a special type of lottery ticket. Mickey promptly went to a lottery shop and bought 10 special tickets. He was astonished to see the 7 lucky gods printed on the tickets. However, due to his busy schedule, he quickly forgot to check the results. A few months later, Mickey had another dream about Daikokuten. This time, Daikokuten said, "Mickey, the fruits of fortune are ripe. Go harvest them." Mickey awoke suddenly and immediately remembered the lottery tickets. When he checked them, he was stunned to discover that he had won the grand prize, 1.5 billion yen. The story of Daikokuten and the miracles at Rinko Temple quickly spread far and wide. With this sum, Mickey not only fully restored the temple, but also carried out numerous charitable activities, spreading Buddhist teachings and compassion to many people. Remarkably, Mickey publicly displayed his winning lottery ticket, confirming that the jackpot number was indeed 17498. He used the winnings, along with contributions from devotees, to completely renovate Rinko Temple, making it more famous than ever. Since then, Mickey continued to experience mysterious phenomena that science could not explain. Humanity has always been curious about the spiritual world. According to records, one of the individuals who was considered closest to divinity once attempted to contact the spirit world. One night in 1901, Nikola Tesla experienced one of the most terrifying nights of his life. Alone in his laboratory, Tesla felt an eerie presence around him. To investigate, he later invented a device he called the spirit receiver, aiming to detect the existence of the afterlife. Tesla claimed that his device captured sounds resembling human voices, speaking in a language he couldn't understand. Some speculated that Tesla might have received signals from extraterrestrials, while others believed the sounds were from the spirit world. However, some discovered that using interference methods could produce similar effects. In his teachings, Mickey once mentioned that Buddhism, with its doctrine of reincarnation, inherently suggests that the soul is real. Mickey firmly believed this, not only because he could perceive spirits, but also due to his extraordinary experiences with devotees. Aside from mysterious stories, Mickey was also known for another ability: prophecy. In 2010, when Mickey was still an unknown monk, during a public lecture, he stated that based on his studies of Buddhist scriptures, from 2010 onward, the gates of calamity would open, leading to the occurrence of the 3 calamities and the 7 disasters. Mickey clarified that he wasn't referring to the traditional gates of calamity that open during the 7th lunar month, but rather to a cosmic cycle of disasters, recurring every 10 years. So what are the 3 calamities and 7 disasters? According to Buddhist scriptures, the 3 calamities are divided into the Great 3 Calamities and the Minor 3 Calamities. The Great 3 Calamities relate to the cosmic cycle of formation, stability, destruction, and emptiness, which can lead to the complete annihilation of the universe. The Minor 3 Calamities, which Mickey referenced, are human world disasters significant enough to threaten humanity's survival, but not the entire universe. In other words, Mickey predicted that from 2010 onward, the world would face severe crises, including the 3 calamities and the 7 disasters. The 7 disasters, as described in the Medicine Buddha Sutra, are Plague disaster, a pandemic causing massive loss of life. This aligns with the COVID-19 pandemic. Foreign invasion disaster, involving warfare and external aggression, possibly referring to the conflicts involving Russia, Ukraine, and Kazakhstan. Internal rebellion disaster, referring to civil unrest or political assassinations. Some believe this corresponds to the assassination of former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe and recent assassination attempts on former U.S. President Donald Trump. Celestial phenomena disaster, astronomical events leading to terrestrial disturbances. In ancient times, it was believed that when the 5 stars align, significant events occur on Earth. Recently, such celestial phenomena have been occurring frequently. Notably, on June 3rd, August 29th, and January 18th, 2025, the 6-star alignment will occur. Even more astonishingly, on March 28th, 2025, the 7-star alignment will take place. Solar and lunar eclipse disaster. Solar and lunar eclipses, which have become more frequent in recent years, including the total solar eclipse observed in April in the U.S. Unseasonal storms and rains, abnormal weather patterns causing destructive storms and snowfall in unexpected seasons. Drought disaster, referring to droughts causing crop failures and famine. In 2011, just a year after Mickey's prophecy, the devastating earthquake on March 11 in Japan made many believe his predictions were coming true, signaling the potential end of the world. However, Mickey reassured the public, explaining that the 3 calamities and 7 disasters must occur in a specific order to signify the end times. This brought some relief to the people. But in 2020, with the outbreak of COVID-19, followed by Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022, and the assassination of Shinzo Abe, many began to worry that events were unfolding exactly as Mickey had foretold. During an interview on a YouTube channel in Japan, Mickey explained that the apocalypse is not inevitable, but depends entirely on humanity's choices. If people continue to indulge in selfishness, greed, resentment, and environmental destruction, disasters and the end of the world could become a reality. However, he emphasized that if humanity changes its behavior, embraces compassion, and acts with goodwill, the world could move toward peace and prosperity. Mickey concluded, "If you study Buddhist scriptures carefully, you'll realize they describe the universal truth." So what is truth? In mathematical terms, 1 + 1 = 2 is a truth, an unchanging law that applies universally, at all times to everyone without exception. Perhaps this is why Buddhist concepts such as formation, stability, destruction, and emptiness align so closely with modern scientific theories about the formation, evolution, decay, and collapse of the universe, as well as the existence of multiple dimensions of time and space. The scriptures also contain vast wisdom about life principles, ways of treating others, and even prophecies about disasters if cosmic laws are not followed. This is what Mickey referred to as blessed calamities and strange disasters. He always emphasized that he was not a prophet, but simply someone who had studied what was already recorded in the scriptures. The purpose of Buddhist scriptures, he explained, is not to predict the end of the world, but to serve as a guide to help humanity avoid misfortune. Reading and applying the teachings not only helps prevent calamity, but also offers the opportunity to attain enlightenment. In this interview, it is noteworthy that Mickey specifically mentioned the year 2025. Indeed, 2025 is also the year that many prophets throughout history have predicted major events. Mickey shared his belief that 2025 and the years to follow may witness unusual astronomical phenomena, climate change, food crises, and other disasters. However, he emphasized that these disasters could be altered by the intentions and actions of humanity. Mickey stated, "The future is not set in stone. Although we may currently see a world filled with suffering through clairvoyance, the future can still be changed. It depends on how each of us acts in the present moment." He further stressed that all Buddhist teachings encourage people to maintain sincerity and positive thoughts. "The way we live in the present will determine whether the future can become better," he said. Therefore, even though many prophets have forecast significant events for the coming year, Mickey believes there is no need to be fearful, as long as we maintain a kind heart and positive energy. What are your thoughts on today's topic? Don't hesitate to share your views in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to stay updated with our latest videos. That's all for now. Goodbye, and see you next time.